passes. He has not been awful by any stretch of the imagination, but he hasn't been electrifying either. I mean, Justin Herbert came out of block, throwing bombs and what have you. We'll see as the season progresses, but I've been very impressed with Tua from the standpoint that he came into this league with durability as a question mark. That hasn't been an issue thus far, and we obviously know that he was an accurate thrower in college, and thus far, we've seen him throw some pinpoint passes, and we got to give respect where respect is due right now. He's 3-0 as a starter. We have to respect that. But a couple of those games, he completed 55% of his passes one game, 60% another. They don't have much of a running game. I'm looking at Devontae Parker. I think it's Jasicki. I think that's the tight end's name, along with some others. We'll see what happens as the season progresses. But when you look at the Miami Dolphins, their defense is clearly the story for their season thus far. Outside of making the switch from Ryan Fitzpatrick to Tua Tagovailoa, the story for the Miami Dolphins has been their defense. It's a top 10 defense. They give up yards rushing and passing, but they don't let you into that end zone much. And that's a credit to their defense and what they're doing, led by their defensive coordinator for you, and obviously Brian Flores. But the bottom line is, it's about their defense. We'll see what happens as the season progresses with Tua. I like him a lot. But in terms of acting like he's arrived, like we've seen, the man is it, I don't know that yet.
I think he's the real deal. He looks like the real deal to me. And, you have teams with really good defenses. They can't get anything done on the offense, and they lose games. He's 3-0. Now, the defenses he's faced so far have kind of very representative of the NFL. An elite one in the Rams. So, and by the way, why would you start him against Aaron Donald? Play one. Here comes Aaron Donald. He's body slammed, gets up, doesn't try to do too much, throws one nice pass for a touchdown, and otherwise game manages, right? That's good. That showed me something. And then since then, he won if not a shootout, a higher scoring type of game in Arizona against an excellent young quarterback, where I wouldn't say he was outplayed. And then he linked up with Justin Herbert, and Joey Bosa's been out, and the Chargers defense hasn't looked recently what it's looked like, earlier in the season. And that's why, he's faced all different kinds of NFL defenses so far, and each time he's done what he's needed to do. He's been around, because under 100 yards against the Rams, it's his first time touching the ball in the NFL. He's been around a 200-yard, 2-touchdown, no interception guy, right? I wouldn't say he outplayed Herbert. I know some people felt that way. I think Herbert is better than Tua so far, but he didn't get outplayed by Herbert either. Herbert had to play his defense, which is a better defense. But even considering that, I wouldn't say he got outplayed by Herbert. I would say it was about even. And when you think of some of the quarterbacks that Herbert has played against, where it looks like Herbert's about the same as that guy, we're talking about all the best quarterbacks in football. Whenever Herbert's linked up with a future Hall of Famer, it's I don't know, he looks like he belongs. Tua looked like he belonged with him. So I don't know, when you get a guy who's really hasn't been outplayed in spite of facing Herbert and Kyler Murray and the Rams defense, and is 3-0, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, hasn't tried to do too much when he hasn't needed to, when he's needed to be calm and steady, at other times has made the throws he's needed to make. The whole question with him is his health, right? The hip, knock wood, has been okay so far. The foot is hurt, but he's been practicing. Tua looks like the real deal to me.
So, look, when I listen to you talk about being the real deal, I think about I really think about the song The Next Episode, featuring Corrupt Nate, Snoop Dogg, and Dr. Dre. And they say in that song, hold up, wait. Listen, when I hear that, hold up, wait, I think about Tua, because guess what? They have a defense that is scoring on defense. Last week, a block punt. No one's talking about special teams, too, because they had a score set up by the special teams. Yes, so when your defense can score on defense, they can set you up with field position. In his first game, he threw for 93 yards. How do you win football games throwing for 93 yards? Defense, special teams, the other two phases. So right now, I'm going to hold up and I'm going to wait on Tua, because I need to see more from him for me to decide on if he is the real deal or not.
And Rob, here's another thing with me. Usually, Max, and I'm not saying that Tua can't run, because obviously he's got some legs on him, and we still got some wheels on him, and we've seen him run. But he's not Lamar Jackson. He's not Tyler Murray. He's not Kyler Murray. And so when I look at it from that standpoint, I'm thinking about his miniature size standing in that pocket. And when you're talking about elite defense, it doesn't even have to be elite. This is the National Football League. They can figure out your strong points and your weaknesses and find a way to kind of exploit that to some degree. Because he doesn't have necessarily the scrambling ability a guy like Kyler Murray does, I'm going to be interested to see how is he going to be primarily as that pocket passer once you apply the pressure to him. What are they going to be able to do schematically to free him up to fling that football the way they I know he's an accurate passer, but what are they going to do schematically once these defenses figure him out just a little bit? That's all I'm talking about, Max, when I'm talking about just waiting to see him.
All right. Rest in peace, Nate Dogg. Let's keep it moving here, guys. I got more football I want to get into. Some other big matchups this weekend. Aaron Rodgers, 7-2 Pack play the 6-3 Colts, and in a battle of two teams, both 6-3, the Titans play Lamar Jackson and the Ravens in a rematch of last season's Tennessee divisional playoff win over the 2019 MVP. Stephen A., who needs the win more? Your boy Rodgers, is he still a bad man, or the MVP, Action Jackson?
Well, first of all, Aaron Rodgers is always a bad man. I never fade from that. But I would still say that the Green Bay Packers need it more, only because of the conference that they're in. When we're looking at L.A., we're looking at Seattle. We can't dismiss Arizona. We see New Orleans and Tampa. Obviously, you look at it from that perspective, and you're the Green Bay Packers. I definitely think you want to win these games. You want to send a kind of message of how formidable you are. That's how I view them right now. It's not because they need it more than Indy in terms of record-wise. I'm just looking at the conference that they're in and the competition that they've got awaiting them.
Rob, I'll give it to you. I'll just say this one thing. Yep, the conference. What about the division they're in? You know, where are the Pittsburgh Steelers for Aaron Rodgers? I think Lamar needs it more.
Yeah, I'm going with the Ravens. I think they do need it more. This one's about confidence, and you can't lose back-to-back games. Losing to the Patriots, a game they should have won. Yeah, everyone's going to talk about the weather, yada, yada, yada. But at the end of the day, when you lose back-to-back games and you're supposed to be the top in the division and things aren't looking right for you, then it's not going to look great down the road when they need these games. And talk about Tennessee. Last year they knocked them off in the playoffs. They weren't supposed to lose to Tennessee then. And this is going to be a big game for them to try and see where they're at mentally.
I think the Ravens are a bigger story than Aaron Rodgers.